in the front, despite it being, like you said, SpeCial, who was probably being more aggressive.
Yeah, it's you got to commend Time on this. Like, so far, micro-wise at the start of the game, he's been better. Like, he just has been better. He's also going to be the one on the aggressive here. He went for one medevac, followed up by a second medevac. Okay, so this is super different because normally, you know, one medevac, that's a bit crazy. It's obviously new to the meta, but second medevac? Like, this might catch SpeCial really off guard.
Yeah, SpeCial's already a little bit out of position as the first drop will go into the main. Still has that Widow Mine, right? So you can actually use this to zone quite nicely. I really like that, as he's obviously got the medevac as well, so he can lift up away from the lock-on. And, well, the Raven is there, I guess. It's not something you should talk about, but there's that lift up to avoid the lock-on, and he avoids the auto turret too. And it's that second medevac. It's going to be a lot of units all of a sudden, with SpeCial not having a ton to deal with it.
Yeah, SpeCial shut down the Hellion in the back of his natural. But this is what we were kind of worried about for SpeCial, because Time's bringing a lot of heat very quickly. Hasn't started his third CC either, so looking to deal a lot of damage. Nice lock-ons by SpeCial. Oh, but nice counter micro by Time there. This is being handled as well as it can by both these players. The Raven's looking very low. One medevac does fall. The Widowmine is still there and down and burrowed. But Time, he's getting a lot of damage done with this.
Oh, Cyclone lock-ons. Time actually loses his Cyclone lock-on there, and he would have had a kill. He's going to kill off a reactor here as the auto turret comes down. He's forced away the reactor, then ends up surviving. Wow, great micro from SpeCial. How many units are just on super low HP from SpeCial? He can't quite clean this up, but he's still surviving. Now Time's going to start getting SCVs, and that's obviously a big win for him, as he's also got a couple units about to run into the natural as well, maybe for a bit more. He's still going. It's a Liberator in the natural. Maybe an auto turret available there to try and turn this around. The Cyclones will go, as Time is actually going to take the chance to get out of the main base. 17 SCVs killed. He's just going to go push to the front now.
Oh my goodness. The amount of pickup micro from Time there, that was phenomenal. If you didn't have a nameplate on that, I'd have been like, that is Clem or Marrow. But no, this is Time. He can micro so damn good. And immediately in the series, he's thrown something wacky at his opponent. But man, does he take an advantage. He's 10 SCVs ahead. He's also put down his third behind all of this. What an opening by the Chinese Terran. I've said it. I've said it before that Time is absolutely the best player that China has ever produced when it comes to StarCraft 2, and he's showcasing why.
Yeah, his TVT looking great right now. Third CC about to finish up. That was such a stressful scenario for both sides as well, right? Because SpeCial is on the knife edge of dying, but, you know, if Time makes the wrong move, he can lose everything, and then it's like, well, I just gave up any chance I had to deal damage. But he got so much out of it, and now third in position, all of the upgrades already on the way, and he is going to be the one playing with a lot of advantages as the game progresses forward.
SpeCial, yeah, I was about to say, given that his barracks wasn't on the tech lab, it looks like he's going to be switching into mech, and that's exactly what he's doing. He does have one advantage, and we talked earlier about advantages that players have, so Time has pretty much every advantage, except the fact that he doesn't even have one single Raven out on the map, whereas SpeCial has 3. That can definitely shut down a lot of aggression. It's a lot of turrets, a lot of firepower. Oh my goodness, Time is being so ballsy here.
Yeah, big load up. I mean, if you can get across successfully, then brilliant. But if you get caught along the way, it can go kind of wrong. He's leading with the Reaper at least to see maybe what's out here. There's that Marine on the left, and well, you could actually just dive straight in towards the third. He's actually going to be Cyclones here, but obviously you can actually unload. And he's going to get straight on top of the third. He wants to get on top of the siege tanks, which he will do. Well, now we've got auto turrets coming down to try and fight this, but it's literally pure auto turrets to try and save the day, and so far going very well.
Yeah, we talked about those turrets being pretty damn good. Like, each one's got about the health of a tank, but deals 18 damage per hit, so very nice cleanup for SpeCial. And all of a sudden, he's the one going mech. He's got his double armory on the way. And I don't necessarily think Time knows what he's up against just yet, but he's taken a fourth behind this. He's still being aggressive on the map. And yeah, now we got a game on our hands.
We do indeed, as a Cyclone gets a lock on there. Marine will go down, and Time will continue to come up the left-hand side. There's a couple of Cyclones from SpeCial coming through, getting a good lock on, and that Cyclone has to pull away over to the left.
I said Time might not know what he's up against, but he's producing 3 Marauders.
Yeah, he knows.
Yeah, he absolutely does know, and he's going to start making SpeCial's life more difficult. And yet again, the Liberator behind in the natural, Liberator in the main as well, trying to push at the front here in the third. Oh my goodness, Time is playing pretty damn quickly in this game thus far. Knows everything that he's up against. He's expanding like a madman behind all this. I think if there's anything I could say about his play, he could probably eke out even more SCVs. But honestly, he's playing so fast and so quick and in your face. This is exactly what you need to do when you're up against Mech.
Yep, as long as he doesn't go overboard and throw away too much, because we've seen that so many times, right? It feels like the bio player is dominating, and then he'll lose a bit too much. The Mech army's like, cool, unsiege, move across the map, siege up on your bases, and how then do you ever fight my army? So as long as he stays away from that, looking pretty good, as we're going to have SpeCial not too far behind when it comes to taking the 4th base, right? It's moving over now, but look at Time. He's already saying, right, how am I going to fight this Mech army later in the game? 2 more starports, and that is step 1 towards having an answer to it.
Yeah, and I love the fact that he's moving into position. I got to give special credit, though. The fact that he's still alive, despite the start being so bad for him. Oh, I say that. The massive bio squad marches in here, and are there enough tanks for SpeCial? It does not look like it. There is just too much blue Terran here. The Ravens try and swoop in. They land down some turrets, but all they do is buy him a little bit more time in this game. The 4th base, it is denied for now. Although Time doesn't quite have the firepower to keep this up, I don't feel.
Yeah, but he's got an attack coming in on the left-hand side, so that 3rd base is about to be under some big pressure. So yeah, get the 4th base up, but what's over here? Absolutely nothing. Well, 32 SCVs right for the picking. They have to go running, and this 3rd base is now actually just going to go down. Needs to lift it up, gets it. Doesn't get the repair, though, and that will be an instant GG from SpeCial, as Time is able to go up 1-0 in the best of 3.
All I can say about that is Time played fierce and fast. That second medevac and the way that he shut down the harass of SpeCial early on, like the 2 Reaper against the 2 Reaper and the single Hellion against the same army, he just microed way better. And SpeCial, before anything even happened, he made 3 Reapers and 2 Hellions, which delays things a little bit, right? Like your tech if you're getting out more units. Time just out microed him early on and just kept up his pressure, kept up his aggression, did something a little bit wacky, but holy cow, that was some sick micro by Time. And overall, he just absolutely dictated the pace of the game. And SpeCial couldn't keep up, man. He couldn't keep up. It's feeling like SpeCial's having a rough time today, because against Innovation, he had like little moments there, but against Time here, it felt like he was on the back foot right from step 1.
Yeah, Time really just took that advantage and just kept it going, right? Those first 2 medevacs did so freaking much. They were just non-stop. Like he even got out of there with units alive, right? That's the crazy thing for Time. Usually you expect an attack like that. It's like, okay, you got like a bunch of SCVs, but you lost all your army in doing so. So maybe SpeCial has an army advantage. No, not in this case. Time came out with everything advantage there. And I mean, I think it goes to show when you can break a mech player on death aura, just how far ahead you were going into that mid game.
Yeah, and I appreciate SpeCial going for mech, because maybe in his head he was like, okay, if I've taken this much damage, I can't realistically play catch up with bio. Like I'm going to try and make it a longer game, but there's a reason that mech isn't the norm in this matchup. And Time he did everything he had to there. He just kept on the pressure and played so well. Anyhow, we're now on Lightshade, 2nd map of the series, and here, spawning in the top left as our blue Terran, currently 1-0 up. It is Time.
Bottom right from Exxon Gaming, we've got ourselves SpeCial.
Oh, okay, so SpeCial this time. He's opting for the gas first here. Time looks like he's going to be going for the barracks first variation. And yeah, this is a build that I've also been trying to experiment with in my games. And one of the super nice things about it is just the fact that there are literally, and I could go on about this all day, there's limitless options that you can kind of divvy out with, it feels like. So it's very hard as the other Terran to really know what you're up against. SpeCial looks like he'll be playing for the expansion this game, though.
Yep. As it's been a while, right? We've just seen so many double gases today. I feel like we've not seen a one gas expand in DVT yet.
Yeah. Like, honestly, Clem's been my god recently, so I've been kind of studying his games a little bit, and he was just opting for the double gas and then being very aggressive with it and like getting out the either a cloakless banshee or a medevac and stuff, and just kind of really showcasing why it's such a good opening. Time here, we'll kind of get to find out what he's up against, and we'll be like, oh, it's a expo build, and I'm looking forward to see why and how this new build that has developed is good against the normal expansion kind of stuff, because for a build to be as popular as this one has become, it has to be able to deal with what was also pretty good before.
Yep. No, it's I always find when someone expands in TVT, I'm always like, it feels so dangerous, right? Because you're just like one unit loss away from losing everything. And that's why we've got to see a Marine here first to really back up this Reaper, because if this Reaper goes down and you're building a reactor, then your game's just over already. So even now, I'm kind of afraid, right? Like, this factory has to go into defense mode. It has to be, I imagine, like a Hellion first. Otherwise, you're really lacking units. It's always scary. It's a fine line to walk as special, but for the moment, looks like he'll get away with it. And if he gets away with it, it should be a 2-3 SCV advantage.
Yeah, and if you're just looking at it like this, I mean, if I just go by the numbers, SpeCial has his CC up way earlier. He also has his starport going up faster. So initially, and to the untrained eye, including my own to some degree, I'm like, okay, so what advantage has that double gas build got? I'm unsure at the moment. I'm unsure, but SpeCial hasn't taken any early damage, and he's in a decent spot. It has to be said.
Yeah, no, I think as long as you don't take damage, this is always going to be that slight advantage. It's always the risk as well, though, that what if your opponent goes like Proxy Rax Reaper or something, right? And then they can really push the advantage early. Let's see we go, moving in. Let's see if this can do anything. It's still a 2 Reaper lead. Yeah, there's a couple of Marines, right? But the Marines actually just... It's surprising how little Marines do in these fights, I feel, a lot of the time.
Also, every one of these units that Time is hurting here doesn't regenerate. And here we have a bit of a skirmish here. The Hellions, I mean, Time is microing very well, and he's really bullying SpeCial in these early game fights. And the Mule, oh my, if the Mule died there, less mining would have been good. Actually, SpeCial does hold on here pretty damn well. Definitely quite a bit of back and forth. Maybe Time outstayed his welcome there. I feel like one of the advantages from having more Reapers is, A, they regenerate, so B, you can kind of run away for just 10 seconds or so, then come back and poke again.
Yeah, it felt like Time actually had some great micro and then just went in one too many times where you can't micro if your units are being one hit, right? Like, and that was the situation he found himself in. Everything was being killed just one after the other. You can't micro back. So yeah, great micro into maybe just sticking around a bit too long. Maybe he just felt like it was a worthwhile dive just to trade out, even for like 1 or 2 extra SCVs, but maybe he just didn't quite find what he was looking for there. As across the board, everything else is looking pretty well timed out. We're seeing a 3rd CC from both players, pretty similar timings. We're seeing the Raven difference is a big one, though. SpeCial is up an entire Raven. That's so much more energy to use, and we've seen just how big those auto turrets can be in fights in the previous games.
Yeah, he's even going up to a 3rd Raven, and he's actually already made the switch on his starport. In fact, Time's being very greedy with his build, because getting 1 Raven and then using the starport to make a reactor for one of your barracks, if this turns into like a tank Raven push from SpeCial, Time could actually be in a lot of trouble. I love this by SpeCial. He's actually going to go for the stim denial here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's definitely going to throw a bit of a spanner into the works. And upon seeing that starport that's also making a reactor, I wouldn't be surprised if SpeCial kind of changes his plan entirely and is just like, you know what? I'm going to go for a bit of a push here.
Yep, just obviously if the starport's building its own reactor, you've not started up that Viking production already. Yeah, I like it. Just get across the map, make use of the Ravens. The only thing is there are now Vikings on the way out, and I wonder if that's a switch from Time, seeing like, you kind of know what I'm doing now, so I'll build Vikings instead of going medevacs, and that should maybe at least give me some chance of holding the air control, and then this Liberator play can be nullified.
It's really good you point that out, Wardy, because yeah, he made his Vikings, and I'm pretty sure that wasn't the plan. Like, if that attack didn't happen, he probably wouldn't have done that. And you can see that SpeCial, upon seeing what he saw, given that he's a smart guy, he's like, aha, it's going to be a much lack of air units, right? Goes for his double Liberator. Absolutely a good play. But yeah, this game is definitely going to get weird for both of them, because they're both doing the right moves, the correct moves, the smart moves. But that doesn't always mean it's going to be a clean, straightforward game for either player.
No, definitely not. As tanks are edging forwards here. SpeCial looking to try and get into a good sieged up position. Impressive that time is still ahead on Stimpack, by the way. That kind of goes to show how committed SpeCial's been to the tech unit so far. And it'll be real intriguing to see. I like what the Liberators are doing, right? He's noticed the Vikings, so he goes different directions with the Libs. And that can hopefully at least get one Lib into a mineral line, but he's going to have the first one found so quickly that then he might be able to get to the left side to defend the second Liberator already. The Cyclone just pulled back because SpeCial makes a big dive into the army. He makes a push as everything's out of position.
And what a push it is. He takes out a lot of the tanks, a lot of SCVs. SpeCial with a 40 supply lead already. Liberator in the back of the natural as well. SpeCial, oh, from taking a loss in that first game, he is bringing the heat immediately in this second one. And this greedy build by time is definitely being thrown on its head.
Yeah, it's not working out at all. You're now down 20 workers, down 20 army supply. Your advantage is what, going to be a faster combat shield? That's all time has to work with, and that doesn't really count for much when you look at the numbers that SpeCial has. So SpeCial will take a little while to back off, maybe let some upgrades finish here, and yeah, it is going to be a SpeCial-driven game for the moment. It's time that needs to make some plays, and you know, we saw, the thing is, what can he make plays with? I guess is the good question. You know, when we go back to Innovation Speciality today, Innovation had the upgrades to play around, right? What does Time have to play around? Like, a handful of Vikings? Well, actually, SpeCial matches the Viking count now. Drop play? Maybe? Like, that's the only thing I really see for him.
You know what's actually really sad for Time? It's the fact that he's got one tank against 6, Wardy. Like, that's quite a disparity. I guess his Marines are a bit stronger, right? But trying to get them to do anything is pretty rough. He is flying seemingly through the Marines, through the Vikings as well. He's in the main with a bit of a squad here, and he does have more Raven energy available. So he does get this land off, but he's got a 40 supply deficit to work against here.
Yeah, I mean, it's one tank and like 8 or 9 Marines, right? It's just not scary numbers. As this Raven goes down, tank trade out goes in favor of SpeCial, and that's going to be a hold in the main base. It was just never enough to be scary, even though it got in straight up. If that was like 4 full medevacs, you know, then we're really talking, but it wasn't even 2 full medevacs, Ben. It was 1.5.
Yeah, that's one of the, like, even though we can look at it and be like, that, you know, it wasn't really going to get much done. The thing is, whenever you're put at such a deficit early on, you've got to do the crazy stuff. And often it won't look great, but you have to do something. And that's just part of the beauty of the position that SpeCial found himself in. And honestly, SpeCial handled that pretty darn well as well.
Yeah, well handled. As we're going to see SpeCial continuing up to the top left-hand side. 2-2 upgrades are already starting from SpeCial, so he's going to keep that advantage as Time is still waiting on the armory. I mean, it's going to come down to the tank count right here. It would seem, although SpeCial tanks laid a siege, and Time is going to get a good pushback against it, so holds on for now. Doesn't lose any tanks in the process.
Yeah, SpeCial definitely shouldn't have lost that fight with the amount of tanks that he had, but he got kind of out-microed a little bit there. Like, Time is... His Marines move so well to avoid the splash damage, and you can definitely tell that he's a really damn good player when it comes to the micro, and he definitely equaled out that resources lost tab a lot more than it was a few minutes ago. But the thing is, this is a game of numbers at this point, I feel, and even though Time's doing well with these fights, will he be able to hold off the onslaught that is SpeCial right now? I don't think so. There is so much SpeCial here, and Time's also got a bit of a rough position on himself, and GG SpeCial ties up the series.
Yeah, really nice plays by SpeCial. Really saw the advantage, knew what to do with it, and played it out nicely. Ties us up 1-1. We'll get to go to game 3 for the first time today. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. Time and SpeCial. Going to a game 3. We've not had a game 3 yet, so exciting to kind of mix it up a little bit. We've had some series which felt like, I mean, SpeCial Innovation felt like maybe we should have had a game 3, at least with the way game 1 was going. So nice to see this time SpeCial can bounce back, tie it up then. And I really feel like with the way these two games have gone, it's anyone's for the take, and it really comes down to those first early pushes. And right now, whoever gets the advantage has been very good at keeping that advantage.
Yeah, the main difference I've seen, so game 1, Time microed beautifully and played crazy, and it paid off. Second game, Time gambles again, except SpeCial read it wonderfully and did everything he needed to do. So we've got two very different kind of approaches to TVT. Anyhow, spawning in the top right-hand side as our blue Terran, it is Time.
Taking on the red Terran in the bottom left-hand side, this is SpeCial.
It's always messy if you're in SpeCial's shoes, because he's obviously reading the game really well. And, you know, given that I can see everything, I was like, okay, I wouldn't be surprised if SpeCial just pushes now kind of thing. And he did it, and it worked beautifully. But when you're playing against somebody that is as crazy and reckless as Time, that's always a bit of a scary position to be in, honestly, because one little slip up or one misread of the game and you're kind of done. And it's but I like this fact that SpeCial, he's not playing Time's own game here, where he's like, you know, I'm going to go for the double gas openings. I'm going to get a scout out early on very quickly and play the expansion role, which it looks like he feels a lot more comfortable with, honestly.
Yeah, just being the defender initially, right? Not having to become the initiator of anything at first. And then that slight advantage gives him some better fights later on. It went very well last time. I do wonder, though, because I feel like Time started off with the micro so well last time. If he can do that again, but maybe pick his time to leave a bit better, maybe that could swing things a little bit in his favor, too.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's so many things that can, like, come into this. I mean, they're both pretty evenly matched, and it's very fun to see what these players divvy and change up a bit. But yeah, I do like the fact that SpeCial, upon being like, okay, this guy's obviously microing really well with the medevacs and the pickups and stuff, and if I go for a medevac build against that, I have to at least rival it to stand a really good chance against it. And the build that he's gone for, like the barracks gas into expansion, this is super good, super safe. You actually get out quite a couple of Marines as well. And here, he's already fending off this Reaper really nicely. If he micros this correctly, he'll be able to get this Reaper, despite going through the grass here. And oh my goodness, Time just gets away.
Just slipping out of there, which is obviously great for Time, because he's continuing to build a second Reaper out, Hellion on the way, and we'll see if he can maybe do anything with that aggression.
So he's not going for the third Reaper. He's actually going for the reactor build. This very often leads itself into a much faster starport. As you can see here, compared to the previous game, starport is actually faster than SpeCial's. So less emphasis on the early Reaper squad, more emphasis on a next phase of attack. I prefer this much more from Time.
Yeah, it definitely transitions a bit better, right? And I think the later games, it feels like Reaper Hellion should be defendable, right? Otherwise, people wouldn't expand like this, because they just die every game. So I like it, teching up a bit faster and maybe focusing on one bigger push rather than little hits of harassment.
Oh, I love the tank and the medevac. And where SpeCial's barracks is actually put here with the reactor, given it's at the top of the ramp, this could be a little bit of a disaster for SpeCial if Time controls it correctly. And right now, trying to deal with a tank, if it does get in a location there to shoot at it, it's going to be fairly hard to deal with if you're SpeCial.
Yeah, let's see what he can get up as we've got ourselves the Raven on the way. The thing is, you mentioned in an earlier game, when that Raven first pops, it's got so little energy, right? So you're talking about one auto turret, which is great at breaking down one position, but if Time can maybe force that auto turret and then go elsewhere, that's a critical unit that is then basically nullified from SpeCial's point of view. So we'll see what happens with that as he makes a play, and right now might even just get the siege up low ground and then try and cover this ramp. If he can do that, that's obviously very powerful as well. Looks like he's got good control of this at the moment.
He certainly does. And oh, I love the pickup as well, getting away there. He's got all the... Look at all that, those Marines. Oh,
No,
he
he
lost
lost
vision.
high ground vision.
But he dealt with the turret. Now that Raven's useless. And it's like, all right, got a Raven out. Just going to fly around and have a look at you. And that reactor goes down. And you might be like, that's not the biggest deal in the world. It's only 50 minerals and stuff. But this position, he has to deal with this. And time is just trading so efficiently.
Yeah, I really, really love it, right? This tank has been left to do a lot of the work. He drops down units when he sees he has the chance to. And now he's going to pull around hard, commit to the natural expansion, which he's going to get a siege on. And his reinforcements just showed up. So now he can really make use of this. He just loses the lock-on, unfortunately. How these tanks are not in range of each other is a miracle. He's actually going to have the medevac and scan for high ground vision. So that's a dead siege tank on the high ground. Big win there for time. He's also got to lock onto the Raven. It goes down with no further cast to Muslim.
Oh my god, time bringing the heat in this third game. His own Raven is in now too. SpeCial is committing. He can't allow this setup to go. But that tank is dealing so much damage to time. The tank under fire as well in GG.
GG. Wow.